Hello, Steve Mills here, and welcome to the Results Mastery podcast. It's great to have you back. Now, whether you're listening on audio or on video, I thank you for your time and I appreciate you giving up a little bit of time to spend time with me. If this is the first time you've ever listened to me, then an even bigger thank you. And if you're back again, then, well, that's great because I must be doing something right. But seriously, this video, this podcast is really about why people are wasting a lot of time and effort on social media and really what to do about it. If you're tired of spending countless hours posting away on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and so on and so forth, and you're not really getting any results, then the first thing I'd tell you is you're not alone. You're really not. And a lot of people think, oh, everybody's posting on social, so I've got to do it as well. And don't get me wrong, that's an important part of social media, management, of winning business on social media. You've got to post lots. And when I say lots, if you listen to some of the world's leading sales, marketing, and business growth experts, they'll tell you. I heard, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk say, if you're not posting 15 times a day across all your social media sites, then you're wasting your time. Now, wow, that might be a little bit excessive for some people because I see people all the time saying, I don't know why it's not working, Steve, but I'm posting, at least twice a week and I'm winning no business. That's like going down to the gym, joining a gym, going down there and going, well, I'm doing, 5 curls twice a week and I'm just not getting any fitter. I don't know why that is, Steve. You with me? It's just not enough, right? So you've got to be posting lots. And when I say lots, for 99% of people, it is far more, not just a little bit more than they're already doing. So I'm going to tell you, if you're not doing it at least 5, 6, 7 times a day, then you're wasting your time. If you can do it 15, then brilliant. But, as a bare minimum, you need to be on there 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. And you think, well, I haven't got time all day to be doing that, Steve. Well, there are ways of automating this as well. If you want to find out about that, contact me regarding our Results Mastery Hub, and I'll talk you through or book a demo, and we can talk about how you can use that to post across all your social media 7 times a day in just a few minutes, literally. So, that said, let's talk about the results that you get from posting. Now, I can also tell you that I've been posting on social media 5, 10, sometimes 15 times a day, every day for many, many years. And the amount of business that I've won as part of that process, or just by posting, where somebody said, I saw your post and I'd now like to meet in order to sign up to one of your programs, is, to be honest, fairly minimal. Then that is not the purpose of posting. Think about what you're doing here. It's like going to a networking event. If you and I go to a Chamber of Commerce event, and all we do is stand in one corner and shout, I'm Steve Mills. Do you need any help with your marketing? And then an hour later, or perhaps 3 days later, you shout it again. I'm Steve Mills. Do you need any help with your marketing? And surprise, surprise, all you get is strange looks. Nobody buys from you by doing that. Now, that might not be the case. You might win some business, as I said, but the vast majority of people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. And that's your job. Your job in your marketing as a whole is to get people to know, like, and trust you. Because when they know, like, and trust you, what you're going to do? You're going to Google it. You're going to just select somebody at random, or are you going to maybe go to the person that you know, like, and trust? And I believe then that that is what you ought to be doing. Now, I say that it's not only believe, it's also the results that I've achieved. I run a business and we're not a multi-billion pound agency or consultancy or whatever. But we do win six figures, I say way over, a little bit over 100 grand a year from LinkedIn alone. And, we also win business from other social media and other sources. But just to give you context here, so you're going to be posting every day, 4 or 5 times. And then the second step, the thing that you've got to do is you've got to grow your database, the number of people you're connected to. I say to people again all the time, they say, well, how many times do you post? They say, well, once a week. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. So how many people have you got in your database? They often say, I don't know. And then we go and have a look, and it's like 550. And I'll say, well, how big's your market? Oh, I don't know. We work with hotels in the UK. Well, how many hotels are there? Oh, don't know. Maybe 100,000. So there's 100,000 hotels and you've got 550 contacts. Is there something wrong with this picture? Absolutely there is. So that's sort of step two. You've got to grow that database. The biggest problem that we're all facing in business is obscurity, the lack of being known. We're not known by enough people. In the UK, there are about 3 million businesses. And if you took that to worldwide, and I provide services all over the world, I have no idea how many businesses there are worldwide, but I'm going to say there's over 100 million of them. If there's 3 million in the UK, then there's 100 million of them throughout the world. And, my database is, in the tens of thousands, not in the 100 million. I've not got 100 million contacts on LinkedIn, and but I'm working towards that and going and finding new people, connecting to them, building my relationships, and so on and so forth. So that's step two. Step three then is to communicate with these people on a one-to-one basis. Okay, on a one-to-one basis. So that could be messaging them on LinkedIn. It could be sending them an email. It could be sending them a video, a little bit like this one. Hi, my name's Steve Mills. We just connected on LinkedIn. I thought I'd send you a personal message via video, David. It's great to be connected to you. I'd love to find out a little bit more about your business and tell you a little bit more about what we do. I was just wondering whether you'd like to maybe meet up over Zoom. Be great if you did. If not, no problem. Thanks. And I look forward to hearing from you if you'd like to do so. Thanks ever so much and speak soon. And that's like a typical message that I might send out to somebody when we first meet. Nice and friendly, nice and bubbly. It'd be nice to find out about what you do, tell you a little bit more about what we do. Let's set up a Zoom meeting. And, if you like to do it, great. And if not, no problem. And that's the type of thing that gets the business, gets your, that proverbial foot in the door, gets that introduction. Then you got to have the meeting, you got to follow it up and perhaps follow it up again, perhaps send them something that you think will be of value to them, whether that's a video or an invitation to a webinar or a free report or something like that. And grow that database, grow that list of people who know, like, and trust you, and that's I think almost the main things that I've got to tell you on this video. So if you're one of those people who are tired and fed up of posting on social media and getting no reaction, then they're basically the other two things. You need to do more of what you are already doing, i.e. posting. You need to be posting to more people, so constantly growing your database. You need to be communicating with them on a one-to-one basis. One final thing, just as an added bonus, you need to be able to communicate their communications. Let me just explain what I mean. Let's say, I'll use David again. David posts something on LinkedIn. What do? I go onto his post, I like it. I comment on it. I say, fantastic post, David. Your point about XYZ is really relevant. In my experience, I'd also add ABC. Hope this is of interest to people, or I might say open to comments about this because I want to get conversation going with them. And then I will save that. And lastly, what I'll do is I'll then share that with all my contacts. I then go back to David and say, hi, David, just to let you know, really liked your social media post. I've liked it, I've commented on it, and I've shared it with my 13,000 LinkedIn contacts. I hope it wins you some business. Best wishes, Steve. All of a sudden, I'm David's new best friend. Particularly if I said I've shared it across all my social media sites. So altogether, it's hit about 80,000 business owners. I hope it wins you some new business. Best wishes, Steve. Can you see how powerful this is? What am I doing? I'm inducing the law of reciprocation. There's a brilliant book here. Let me just show you this. Influence by Robert Cialdini, The Psychology of Persuasion. One of the things Cialdini says in his book, which is a bestseller, by the way, is that one of the keys to influence people is inducing or bringing forth the desire to reciprocate. So one of the great things I think, and nice things I think about humans is when we do something for somebody else, they're driven to do something to us. It even works with strangers. If I went up to a stranger in the street and said, "Excuse me, I wonder whether you could help me." Most people, not all, but most people would say, "Yeah, sure, if I can," or at least, what is it? What do you want? And whatever it is, as long as it's not too ridiculous, they're probably going to help me. So that's a great thing. So that's just an added bonus. And by the way, if you do that with very high credibility people, perhaps famous people. So I mentioned Gary Vaynerchuk. So if Gary Vaynerchuk, who's got millions of followers, goes and posts something on LinkedIn, and I say something complimentary, why wouldn't I? I'm not going to say that's a load of rubbish, Gary. You don't know what you're talking about, because he does. But I say something positive about it. I add some extra value, and then I share it with everybody. Now, everybody is comes down to, on my posts, I might get 500 to 1,000 people looking at it. On Gary's post, he gets 50,000 people looking at it. So they all potentially get to see my comment. Now, obviously, all of them won't, but if only 5% of them do, and let's say 5% of those click on a link and go to my profile, and 5% of those go to my website and book a meeting, I'm as happy as Larry. I really am. So that's about it. I hope this episode of the Results Mastery podcast was of value to you. I'm sure it was. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with me. I would recommend you subscribe to the podcast. I'd also recommend you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get yourself signed up there. There's loads and loads. I think there's something like 1,500 videos that are all full of great advice and information and so on. So get yourself signed up. Look forward to speaking to you again next time. If you are interested in some more, proactive help, if you want me as your coach, if you want me to help you to grow your business, I've been doing this for 30 years with huge success. I guarantee a 10 times return on your investment. So if you invest £1, you get £10 back, or I'll give you £1 back. That's how it works. If you want to know more, go to my website, which is results-mastery.com. Click on one of the gold buttons, set up a Zoom meeting, and I look forward to speaking to you then. Thank you very much for listening. So, thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, and even more, if you've benefited from it and you'd like to know more, you'd like more of my help, and you'd like to benefit from my nearly 30 years of experience working with and learning from the leading experts in the world in the area of sales and marketing, then here's what you need to do next. You need to go to my website, which is results-mastery.com, and use the gold button to book yourself a meeting on a one-to-one basis with me. Thank you very much for listening again, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Thank you.